What's up, guys? Welcome to Diggity, a video game podcast, episode number 248. I'm Jeff James. With me, as always, the incredible, unobtainable, luscious Brody Faltz, taking you and your ear holes on a magical adventure through the world of video game news. Each and every single week, Brody and I descend from the heavens into video game land to bring you non-bullshit, non-political video game speak, my dudes and dudettes. We go live every single Thursday evening on YouTube and on Twitch at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, or close to 9:30. Sometimes we start a little bit earlier, feeling a little friskier tonight. Start a little early, you know? It's whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It
Get a head start on the evening.
Yeah. But have no fear, if you can't watch us live, you can always listen to the audio version of the podcast, available on every single podcast network known to man, including Pandora, which was a huge pain in the ass to get on a while ago, but we did it. And also, it's like one of the main things that people listen to us on, which is kind of crazy. So thank you, Pandora people.
Very bizarre.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats the other day. I was like, that's kind of weird. But anyways, yeah, we're on there. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. If this is your a millionth time listening to us, impossible, because this is only episode 248. Please leave us a review. That'd be fantastic. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Diggity Podcast. And we're also part of something pretty sweet called the Spawn Camp, which is on YouTube. Includes great creators like the WSD and Beyond Boys, talking about all different pop culture kind of stuff. I believe they're talking about Halo soon. They're making a video about that. The Halo TV series, that is. We got Bill Bros podcast. If you love Gundam Pla. Gundam Pla. That's your boys. If you love PLA Plastics. If you just
there you go,
big boner for plastic, follow them. I like Gundam. I was getting scared. I was in a Hobby Lobby. The wife was looking at dumb shit, and I was down in the model section, and I was looking at car models, and then I saw some Gundam models down there. I went, oh boy,
they have Gundam in a Hobby Lobby?
Yeah, certainly.
No Southwest shit. Fort Wayne I did Hobby not Lobby, know dude. That. Huh.
How much? Like, it wasn't that expensive either. Like, they're
not too bad.
There was like one that was only like $19, and then there's another one that was like $45.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I actually picked up two new ones today. So I've been doing I'm trying to start going through and build all the Evangelion units. I units.
Fucking start doing this, because I used to do model stuff all the time, like train models.
It's relaxing, man.
It's
relaxing until it's not. You like snap a piece, you're like,
I gotta do it. I gotta get the green mat and everything and get back into the model stuff. Really enjoy it.
I picked up a high grade and a real grade, which I had to have those guys explain to me what they are. But basically, the real grades are pretty
better.
No, the real grades are more expensive and harder. But the real grade I got today was like $40, and then I got the high grade, which is the smaller ones, and it was like, I don't know, I think it was $13.
That's not bad at all. And
there's hobby shop.
No glue, right? Everything
right
snaps
down the
together.
road from you, my guy.
Everything snaps together.
Yeah. Yep. You only have to use glue if you snap it in half.
Shit.
I may or may not have done that on the last one.
I watched a video on Tested, YouTube's channel, with Adam Savage, and Adam Savage was putting together one that was like, is there something higher quality than real?
There is a master grade and a perfect grade as well.
I think it was, don't quote me on this, I believe it was a perfect grade or something like that, where like, literally
those are like $150.
It was crazy. Bro. This shit was like,
got like LEDs and everything.
Yes, it did. Yeah, it did. And it was like, it literally had fucking like plastic injection molding, like pieces that just, it doesn't even make sense how they were plastic injection molded.
Right.
How they came out. It's like, how is this even possible? It's crazy. So.
I started to get into those before we actually brought those guys into Spawn Camp, and then since we have brought them into Spawn Camp, I am fucked, and so is my wallet. Like, I'm hooked on it now. It's nice, like a nice little break from video games every once in a while. Yeah, awesome. I like it.
Cool. Well, with tradition, what have you been playing?
Oh, I've been on vacation this week, so I've played a lot. I have been playing Elden Ring, continuing on with that. I have talked that to death at this point. I don't think I really need to say too much more about it.
Probably good.
I have also been playing Anno Mutationem. So this is a pixel art game that I stumbled across on Reddit, I believe. Very, very cool game. The art style is fantastic. The pixel work is gorgeous. So far, the game seems like it's pretty cool. The controls are a little floaty and not quite exactly what I was hoping for, but I'm invested enough into the world that they've built that I'm in for it. I finally got around to trying Dicey Dungeons, which is kind of a neat little like. It's not even really D&D, but it's kind of like that. You play as a die, and you work your way through like 5 levels of dungeons, and just you get different power-ups. You can heal yourself. You have different battles that you go through. Some of the battles only block things like chests that you could go and potentially get like a new skill or whatever it may be. For what it is, it's a pretty simple, almost like card collecting game, but it's very, very cool, and I actually really enjoyed my time with it. I played probably an hour and a half, 2 hours of that. Got into Tunic a little bit, which is kind of Zelda-esque, but also kind of Dark Souls-esque. I don't know what to really. Yeah. I hate to make those comparisons because it's its own thing, but it has more of like a Zelda feel with like some Dark Souls kind of element where like if you die, you go back to the last bonfire and you can go back and collect your money and everything. Very, very cool. It is challenging for sure, especially at certain points, and if you kind of get too far and don't rest at a bonfire or whatever, you definitely will see some struggles, but definitely very, very cool game. I really love the art style of it. You play this as this little fox and like just run around the world, and it's very cool. Great to kind of that isometric like dungeon crawling type of feel to it, and very, very good. Monster Hunter Rise, I got back into that a little bit. I ended up picking it up on PC because I plan on playing the expansion on PC, even though I have put like 80 hours into the Switch version of it. I am going to revert and go back to PC now that I have been playing predominantly on PC. So I didn't put a whole lot of time into that yet, but I definitely will. It has like an opposite control scheme of Elden Ring, so switching between the two is not great, and it's very, very difficult. Yeah. I played Portal and beat Portal. Yeah, just I wanted something.
Randomly? Just like, hey, I want to fucking do this, or
yeah, I've never completed all of Portal and Portal 1 or Portal 2. Sorry.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
So yeah, I definitely have played Portal before. I don't remember if I ever beat it back in the day or not, but I just kind of on a whim, I had it in my Steam library, so I went through and played Portal, and that was a great little treat, a nice little break from getting my ass kicked in Elden Ring. And then I started playing Portal 2 as well, which so far the humor and the writing in that is fantastic. I really like what they've done with that as well. And the last thing I have been playing, which we will get to. Yeah, like I said, I've been on vacation all week, man. I played Xenoblade Chronicles, a little bit of that on my Switch, just progressed that ever so slightly, not anything crazy. And then the last thing that I will talk about after you're done talking about your games, I finally got to start Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which just came out this evening, and I got about an hour and a half of it, and I have some thoughts. So,
cool.
What have you been playing?
Well, my family was able to finally come down, so I was a little preoccupied, but I still got some decent gaming. And also, breaking news, for those who give a shit about March Madness, Gonzaga just fucking lost to Arkansas.
Holy cow.
Right?
I mean, crazy? I don't care about March Madness, but that still sounds crazy.
Pretty wild. Anyways, I played not a lot, but a little bit of Overwatch. Signed up for the alpha, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it even comes out. And then
not sign up for that.
And then I've got what else I played? Played a little bit of Madden, played a little bit of NHL 22. Played a little bit more Spider-Man. Played that out for a bit. Just did a couple missions. I'm at like 98% on that, and I was like, I could finish this up.
The original Spider-Man or original. Miles Morales?
Original. Okay. And so I was like, it's been a while since I got in there. Man, when you're away from that game and you go back into it, in fights, you can suck real bad.
Oh, yeah.
You forget, like, okay, how the hell do I use my gadgets? How the hell do I punch? How the hell do I use this shit? I mean, it's crazy. I forgot a ton of stuff. So I messed around with that a bit. And I played some more Park Attack, played a little bit of Civ. And then a tiny bit of Mario Kart, as I'm excited for the new tracks. So I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
Super stoked for that. But other than that, it's been pretty chill for me. Nothing too crazy.
Did that first pack release yet or no?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It should be soon, I believe. But I have not played Mario Kart in a while. My Midwesterner just came out there where I go, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, no. But I am excited to probably Mario Kart doesn't change that much, right? And so to be able to see some like additional tracks and things like that, I wish they would add some additional like carts and items for your carts and maybe some additional characters or something. That'd be cool. But I get it, right? At this point they already have a ton of characters and things going on anyway. So I'm not too hurt about that, but to see more tracks into what is already, pretty much a definitive Mario Kart is just incredible. Like that's good, man. Like to see, what was it, $25 for or 25 or $30 for the DLC, and I can't remember.
It's like $25.
Yeah, and it's basically adding a whole new Mario Kart to it. Yeah, cool. I'm all right with that. I wasn't sure about it at first because I do want that next Mario Kart, but at the same time, I think this is a great compromise, almost like Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah, so the first one has launched officially.
Okay. I thought I had seen something waves.
About it.
That's crazy, man. Because it adds, 2 whole cups? So like 8 tracks?
So Wave 1, March 18th, 2022. Golden Dash Cup and the Lucky Cat Cup. Wave 2, unknown date, will be Turnip Cup and Propeller Cup. Wave 3 will be Rock Cup and Moon Cup. Wave 4, Fruit Cup, Boomerang Cup. Wave 5, Feather and Cherry. And Wave 6, Acorn and Spiny. So we got Paris Promenade, Toad Circuit, Choco Mountain, Coconut Hall. And then the Lucky Cat Cup, we got Tokyo Blur, Shroom Ridge, Sky Garden, and Ninja Hideaway. So the next 4 waves will be, or 5 waves, sorry, will be whenever. So by the end of 2023, by the way, is when all the waves end up. So I'm assuming they're going to do
1 a quarter.
Well,
a little over, I guess.
I guess a little over, yeah. Like one every 4 months, I guess.
Yeah.
Would take you there.
That's not so bad.
Or they do it every quarter, and they do like what Smash did. We go all the way to Wave 5, and then just wait a year for Wave 6.
Probably. Yeah, they'll release one every month for every 2 months for the rest of the year.
They'll wait a year for the last one.
Yeah. And there's the last one.
Oh, yeah, that'd just be perfect. So talk about Tiny Tina's Wonderland here. Like what the hell's going on with this? I don't
have a ton going on here, right? So I technically pre-ordered it. I got it through Green Man Gaming, which was fucking stellar, by the way. Got it through Green Man Gaming, got it downloaded because you couldn't pre-download it on PC. You could pre-download it on PlayStation 5 and Xbox, but not PC for whatever reason. So 7 o'clock rolled around. I had to get it downloaded. Mind you, we hop on here at 9 o'clock. So I played about an hour and a half or so by the time it was downloaded. Got in there. Character creators, pretty simple, but not too bad, honestly. I mean, obviously everything has that Borderland style to it. So nobody you make is going to be a very incredible looking character. They have that very... I know it's not technically cell shaded, but cell shaded for that's what I'm going to call it. But you get in there and right off the bat, you get like a cinematic that kind of just sets up what's going on to some extent, not even really.
It throws you in pretty quick.
It throws you in, relatively quick.
I played the one-shot adventure.
Okay.
And that's the start of the game, am I correct or no? Or is this a separate?
So this one was a little bit longer. It has the cinematic at the beginning, and then you create your character, and then you pretty much jump in from there. So this is also my first game that I've really played mouse and keyboard on, as far as like this, not as far as a shooter, I guess. So that learning curve is quite interesting for me so far. I'm never really messed around with mouse and keyboard, so other than like MMOs or something of that nature. So this has been interesting. I put it on balanced, which is their like medium difficulty, and so far I have not died. I died once by running off of an edge, thinking I could make a jump, but other than that, I have not died in combat. So I would say if you're used to playing mouse and keyboard, if you're playing on controller, you could probably even bump it up a level because to the intense, the hard setting, because right now it's really not all that difficult. I can go just walk back and forth and take pop shots and do okay, even with mouse and keyboard that I'm entirely not used to. The character creator was cool. You get to like kind of set up your character with some base armor and then go in and actually like change the colors of it. You can change your character's face. A lot of cool things going on there. Once you first get into it, I mean the writing is very much what you would expect from a Borderlands game, because at the end of the day, this is another Borderlands game.
Yeah,
just with a different setting. Yeah, if you expected this to be anything different than Borderlands, it is definitely not. It seems like on some of the weapons they tried to make them look a little bit more fantasy-like, where they're like, hey, we put like crossbow, I don't even know what to call them, I'm not a crossbow guy, but they made it look right.
Shame on you.
But yeah, they kind of made some of them look like crossbows, and then some of them are just straight up fucking guns, like they're guns. You have a grenade, or sorry, a spell slot, which basically takes the place of your grenade slot. You have an ability slot, which depending on which class you pick, has like a certain thing. Like the character I chose, it's the one that has like a little pet dragon that follows you around. But I slam a hammer down and cause a bunch of melee damage and stuff. Pretty cool. All the guns have like your typical elements and things going on there, where they all have different modifiers. The voice acting is actually really good. I will give them that. Ashley Birch is Tiny Tina again. You have Wanda Sykes as one of the characters, and Andy Samberg as the other character. So the voice acting is definitely pretty good, and I mean it's that corny Borderlands like over the top. The queen is Butt Stallion in this game, right? Like it's ridiculous and just crazy. The weapons feel just like Borderlands 2. They don't, even though they may, look slightly different, they're pretty much Borderlands weapons. Everything there is pretty much the same. The gameplay is the same. The only thing that really is different that I've noticed so much, or so far, is you have like some narrative stuff going on, but there's like you go through levels almost. It's a little bit more linear. The area I'm in now is a larger open world. I don't even want to really call it an open world, but a larger
tricks like mountains on this area, and
right?
Water,
but it's definitely a bigger area. I wouldn't say it. I'm not too far into it, so some of these may get bigger as we go. But I know like you had different worlds that you would go to, and they would be like a larger landscape for you to travel in some of the Borderlands games. This one so far has been a little bit more linear with some like side paths and things that you can go down, but it's still somewhat linear. But yeah, you have this overworld that you travel from like level to level to level type of thing. And there's stuff to also explore on the overworld where you play as like your character, but like kind of chibi like with a giant head and everything wandering around. And there's also random encounters in grass, like old school Pokemon style. Well, still new school Pokemon style, I guess, at that point, but definitely a little different. And I have noticed so far that my online, the connection to Shift, which is their like online deal, was in and out constantly. Other than that, though, I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit so far. I was playing it pretty much right up until we went live. Like I said, about an hour and a half-ish, probably an hour of actual gameplay after I got in and really kind of settled into what was going on. But I'm enjoying it. Again, it is Borderlands to a T. It doesn't seem to lean as heavy into the D&D aspect of it that I was hoping it might. But if you like Borderlands you will like this. If you don't like Borderlands, you're not going to like this. It is Borderlands turned to 11 because it's Tiny Tina, and she is one of the most outlandish characters in Borderlands, and very loud and aggressive and just yelling all the time. But I enjoy it. I've always liked Borderlands, and this is scratching that itch where I don't feel like Borderlands 3 really did that for me, but I think this is really hitting its stride pretty well. I like the fantasy kind of world you have going on so far. So far, I've pretty much just fought bandits and skeletons, and some like rock trolls and just different enemy types. And I have not really gotten to adjust my character anymore past what I originally did, even though I found a lot more customization stuff as I go. That stuff just drops from killing random enemies. The weapons are all right. I have not found one I'm really attached to yet, but I'm hoping I will.
Or no?
I have not ran into any technical issues at all
when I was doing the one-shot adventure shit.
Really? Yeah. So that was
on PS5,
Borderlands 2.
So
yeah. So far, I have not ran into any problems technical at all whatsoever. It has been a very smooth experience. Granted, again, very short period of time, but next week I should have quite a bit more time into it. I'm going to switch gears and play this probably quite a bit, and switch between Elden Ring and this. But yeah, I should have a little bit more to say next week. But overall, a good Borderlands experience. But if you don't like Borderlands, I wouldn't even bother because it is just that.
Perfect. Good to know. I probably will not touch it because I'm just not a huge Borderlands guy. And I really, the one-shot adventure I wasn't a huge fan of as I was going along. But cool. So moving on for some news. So CD Projekt Red has announced the next Witcher game, which is kind of crazy. But also, I think a lot of people are kind of expecting this on the maybe all along they were going to do this anyways. But I feel like it's maybe a little early to kind of get rid of the heat. You know what I mean? That was behind Cyberpunk. I don't know.
Yeah, the timing feels a little weird, but I don't know why anybody would be too surprised that they're working on this. They've probably
been working on it for a while.
They've probably been working on it for a while at this point. They're just finally announcing it. It does feel a little bit like a PR stunt to some extent to kind of pull some.
I think that maybe they haven't really worked on it as much, only because in the news here it's saying that it's going to utilize Unreal Engine 5 rather than their Red Engine. And I just think that that's a business decision that would come with after Cyberpunk issues, perhaps.
Yeah, and one of the when they announced that they were using Unreal Engine and teaming up with Epic on this, one of the big things that came out was like everybody's like, "Oh no, it's going to be an Epic Game Store exclusive." And their community manager took to Twitter basically to clarify right off the bat. He's like, "What we did not announce today was a game called The Witcher 4, and we also did not announce that this is going to be exclusive to one storefront." So I think it's good that they got ahead of that. It does feel weird. It feels slightly disingenuous considering Cyberpunk still is not fixed. Like it's better. It still is not. It is still not the game that they tried to promise or anything. It is. I don't know. It's in a weird limbo. I have not revisited it in a very long time, so I can't fully speak to where it's at currently. But
I mean, what if this is a giant remaster?
I don't think it is. I think they showed off. So what they showed off was the medallion, right?
But yeah.
The medallion that they showed off is a Lynx medallion. So they're implying that it is a different school within the Witcher lore, I guess. So I actually did a hotfix with Nick over all of this from WASD and beyond, and we kind of talked for about 40 minutes about what we kind of thought this was going to be and everything, and I think this is going to be their turn to take a crack at maybe a less serious character. I think they're going to go with a little bit more of a, not like full-on Spider-Man cracking jokes all the time or anything like that, but I think it's going to be somebody who's a little less gruff than Geralt, where he's, grunts all the time, never really has much to say. I think this is a cool opportunity for them. I just have lost so much faith in CD Projekt Red. Not that I really had much to begin with, because I never played The Witcher at launch. I just heard the horror stories of like, hey, The Witcher 3 was a mess, Cyberpunk was a mess. I don't have a lot of faith in this right off the bat. I will eventually pick it up, don't get me wrong, but this is not going to be something I pick up day one. I just can't trust CD Projekt Red at this point.
Yeah, I think what's happening here is let's release something to talk about something else other than Cyberpunk. Even though I think most of that's kind of died down by now, honestly. Yeah. I just think that there's a negative connotation to Cyberpunk regardless, and like the average person looks at that game and honestly at this point probably knows too, like, whoa.
Right.
I've heard about this disaster. So like going back to that's great. I think they haven't even started the damn thing because of the fact that they're going to use a different engine, or they're very, 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 very little into development.
I am happy to see them switching engines though, because clearly their engine cannot handle their ambitions that they have.
I just don't want the same shit though. Like I don't want the same shit to play out where the next 3 years we hear about this fucking game.
7 years between the announcement of Cyberpunk and when it finally came out.
Yeah. I don't want to hear the next 4 or 5 years then about this game. They can't take 7. They need to take way less than that. But I don't want to sit around for the next 5 years listening about this fucking game and then it comes out and the same shit happens. Because at that point, if it's a different engine and a game comes out and it's the same shit, which is all hypothetical, it's the team.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't jive. There's shit that just doesn't jive there.
I also wonder if this is going to be a smaller spin-off, like that Uncharted game that came out. I'm drawing a blank on which one that is.
But
I got you. Or like Miles Morales, where it's a little bit shorter too, and maybe not a full pop game or something like that, to where maybe this is just a little bit of a filler to maybe get back in good graces.
Can you really make a small Witcher game though?
Probably not how they have historically done it.
You know what I mean?
That's true, right? But also, I mean, Spider-Man and then Miles Morales was I enjoyed the little bit. I still put a lot of time in Miles Morales, don't get me wrong, but a little bit more bite-sized experience was nice. Granted, Spider-Man I don't think it was really all that long. I think I beat it in 20 hours.
Spider-Man was more of like a showcase of like...
Yeah.
Just Insomniac's abilities. I mean, the city, like, I don't know. No Spider-Man game has been fantastic in terms of open world things to do after you've beat shit. It just gets extremely boring, but...
Now, I will say one thing that worked for Insomniac is they used the same world, essentially. So they were able to turn that around. And then just made everything winter, right? So it's not going to be exactly the same thing, but I could almost see this being more of a smaller game, maybe not the full Witcher experience that you would fully expect after, Witcher 3 and all of its DLC and everything. I mean, because some of their DLC was a full game. So, I mean, they had a lot of content in some of those DLCs. So I could see that. I'm not saying that I think that's necessarily what's going to happen, but with their bad publicity lately, it wouldn't be a half bad idea to just put out something that is a little bit shorter and very high quality and hopefully earn back a little bit of trust, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are in the same boat as me where I'm like, nah, not at launch, man.
I still think CD Projekt's going to get swallowed up by Microsoft.
Maybe. I could see it, I guess. I don't know.
Although there's already news coming out that a lot of the fucking dev teams that have been acquired up aren't getting along together.
Yeah.
With Microsoft, and they're walking out on shit.
Fable
team is just walking out on shit.
There's a lot of dev teams, so like surely someone's not going to get along
quick. But yeah, I don't know. I still think that they get bought up. I mean, Sony's not going to touch them with a 100-foot pole.
Yeah, they pulled their game from the store for like 6 months.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like that would be a bad move for Microsoft to pick them up currently too. I think they need to put out something.
I mean, but they picked up Activision
better for the time being.
At what would be what could be. You know,
That's true, but Activision is lucrative as hell.
I know it's
They make
lucrative as hell,
so
but I
much
mean,
money.
there's also just so much shitty PR that's happening at the same time.
That's true. But they haven't entirely lost. I mean, the Call of Duty fan base is still the Call of Duty fan base, and Warzone brings in crazy money, and people play it religiously. I think it's a little bit different situation, but I see what you're saying, especially from the negative PR standpoint. That clearly does not scare Microsoft at this point. So
No,
I don't know.
Do you want to talk on the leaks?
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot here, right? Basically, a new Battlefield game has. I don't even know if I really want to call it leaked, but apparently there's a new Battlefield game in development. Again, this is a situation where I feel like the internet overreacted because, of course, there's a new Battlefield. That's what DICE does. They make predominantly Battlefield, so of course they're going to be working on their next Battlefield game. I think the reason people are upset is because Battlefield 2042 is absolute dog shit and a dumpster fire that they are not fixing at all currently. Or they're putting out tiny little patches that are trivial in the grand scheme of things. But so currently this is just in pre-production and is expected to remain in a modern or future time period. So no more going back to, World War II or anything like that. Supposedly there's going to revert a lot of the changes that they made in 2042. Like the specialist system was a big one that was mentioned in this. Again, this is all leaks. It's hearsay. There's no announcement. There's no anything like that.
Gamble here. Is there thing like, hey, we fucked up, didn't give you what you wanted. We're going to slowly give you stuff, and then we'll just re-release another fucking game that has all the stuff you originally wanted?
Kind of gathering from it.
That's so fucked up. Maybe the tornado will run more than one route.
Yeah. This is another studio I have no faith in anymore. I really just don't. After I didn't like Battlefield 5, but returning to that modern era was like, hey, I'm here for it. I'm in. I'm excited for this, and I got fucking burnt on that. I mean, 2042 was awful. I played it 2 weeks, not even full 2 weeks, like a little bit here and there.
Maybe 2 weeks of it, and then we're like, we can't.
I absolutely despise that game. There is nothing I enjoy about that game. There's no redeeming qualities about it. The map design sucks. Everything about it is just not what people want from a Battlefield game. And it's one of those things like it doesn't even seem like the same devs are working on this. Granted, I'm sure there's been a lot of movement. There's probably a lot of people that have left from DICE between, Battlefield 4 and now. And Battlefield has never really launched in a great state either. It's always been a disaster. But this one was particularly bad. And I feel like the DICE really shot themselves in the foot on this. And EA shot themselves in the foot by pushing this out. And it sucks. It sucks. I was super excited for a Battlefield game. I thought this was going to be the game that we played for a while as our multiplayer game, and it just isn't. To see them talking about another Battlefield game, of course it's in pre-production, so they're just talking about shit at this point. They aren't even really doing anything currently. So whatever. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, but they still need to fix Battlefield 2042. So if they don't, their sales are going to hurt significantly going
Well, they got to do something quick because their current users, okay, so on Tuesday, November 30th, they averaged 47,300 average users online, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it is today?
Oh, God. Fucking maybe 8,000? 10,000?
2,283.
Holy cow. Yeah, that's
averaging the last month and a half, averaging 2,000 to 2,500 concurrent players. Holy shit. Last 30 days, that. A 31% drop in peak player.
God. I hate to see that because I love Battlefield games when they're at their best, but I mean this is this has no redeeming qualities of a Battlefield
It's
game.
a hot garbage
None.
when it came out, and then
Yeah.
they didn't do anything about it. And like, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but like, I'm gonna blame a lot of this on the work from home shit.
Yeah.
Like, I just
That's
don't
fair.
think it works for some studios. I don't think that, like, or there's a learning curve and shit had to be delayed again. But, like, also at the same time, they delayed it multiple times and then they said, fuck it, we got to put it out there because they got the mob on them, right? Which is the gaming community just losing their shit. Which is not, again, I want to emphasize, it's not the gaming community's fault for that. Because ultimately, the company can be like, fuck you, we're just going to delay it again, and it comes out, and it's nice. But, like, to not have a scoreboard in your fucking game?
Which they delayed the update to add a scoreboard to their game. It's incredible. I don't understand.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Granted, I mean, Halo's in a very similar boat where they were supposed to have co-op like a month and a half ago, and they still don't have co-op for the campaign. There's still Forge missing, like... That's a player base that is dwindling as well because they are not adding the content that they said they were going to add. Forge is single-handedly a thing that could keep this game alive, and they aren't adding it. There's so many issues there too, but compared to something like Battlefield 2042, it looks great. Like, Halo Infinite looks like a significantly better game than 2042, and that's still not saying much, though. I mean, Halo's in a really weird spot right now as well. So I don't know. I don't know
Halo
what the
on
answer
Steam,
is.
8,000 from launch of 147,000 and a midpoint of 33,000.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, they're not. Those games are not seeing the support, and honestly, that is something that Activision has actually been doing exceptionally well with their constant content updates, their
Minus
new
Overwatch.
stuff they're pushing out. Yeah, minus Overwatch, but like for Call of Duty especially, right? Like they still pump out content for that all the time, and it shows because their player base stays, right? Like their game is not some like far cry from anything else, but they continually update it, they continually put content out, and that makes a massive difference in retaining your audience.
What I don't really understand is just like if your game is bad, right? And perhaps my strategy here doesn't make sense and perhaps it's wrong. But if your game is that bad, you're losing people like crazy, I would just go into like update mode like crazy. Like every fucking day or two, I'm throwing in a quality of life update. I'm throwing something in. The moment I have shit, and it of course has to be play tested and stuff like that, but the moment I have shit that's just going to help, I would throw it in there to be appreciative.
Don't wait for large updates. Just start patching shit.
Right, like let's be honest and let's be real. Like the community, as much as it has incredible mood swings, either way. True. So it's like if you're, they can get pissed off as possible, but then also at the same time, if you start showing them, hey, I'm doing little updates. Hey, here's your scoreboard. Hey, we fixed grenades. Hey, we got rid of the hovercraft issue right off the bat. Hey, here's this glitch. Done. Fixed. Over with. And you just start putting little shit out like that and you show it's consistent, I think people would actually give a shit and probably start playing it.
Yeah.
But I think it's too late
because at least
now.
it shows it's at this point, yes.
Way too late now.
At least it shows that they would have been working on something, right? Like
not,
you're putting out
think
even
it's that
small
hard.
updates each week. No.
When it was
just
missing
show that you give a
shit.
fuck.
Like put together a small fucking video. Do those ice cubes ever scare the fuck out of you? Like they're gonna come crash and just break your nose?
It's more concerning when we're doing the podcast because I'm trying to not make noise
with the stone cubes. No, it's just like if your game is missing so much shit, just start putting shit in the game and get it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand the thought process there. Like fucking show that you give a shit.
I agree.
Like that's just
I wholeheartedly
wild.
agree. I mean, that's why Overwatch fans have been fleeing that game too, because they have not been doing anything to it. There's been no.
Like,
I mean, they
great,
just recently started talking.
Alpha. Fantastic, right. But we already know what's going to be in the alpha. We were already told that there's going to be characters that are overpowered. Why? Why the fuck is that going to be a thing? Why can't you fucking balance?
You already
shit?
have half of the characters balanced. Like what the fuck? It's crazy. And that was after.
Man.
That's after a year and a half of like radio silence on that game too.
Yeah.
Just bizarre.
Like,
So
I'm
bizarre.
not gonna lie. Am I gonna buy it day one? Yeah, I'll probably buy it day one just because I've invested so much time into Overwatch itself. But like, again,
Right.
I go on Overwatch and playing it. I'm like, besides like a couple of new skins and then bringing back skins into shit, there's no new fucking character that's been in there. And I get it. They're like, we want to change they're just, we want to change the style and of some of the characters and change their bit. Okay, cool. Like, why don't you fucking do that in the game that's out right now and then just push people over to the next one?
Never mind the fact that they fucked over every esports team because now they have to pick one person that they're kicking the fuck out.
Yeah. But also it's like I was having this conversation with Eric and a while back, and like, we don't understand this gray area that they want to move into where it's like, hey, we want to give you a second game. It's going to have the same characters in it. They're going to be redesigned. There's going to be one less person on your team, and they're going to have some different abilities and stuff like that. And so I sit there and I'm like, okay, so the gray area of them constituting this as a full pop game isn't even there in the current stasis that they want to do. Like, them holding everything back from Overwatch 1 and just waiting for Overwatch 2 doesn't constitute a new fucking game from everything we've been shown right now. Like, what this sounds like is essentially DLC. So I really don't understand why, like, they can charge people full pop and people pay it. Whatever. But like, why not migrate your player base into that game by updating your current fucking game?
Right.
With stuff.
Or even just a minuscule, like,
I don't get it.
Don't go full pop, right? Like, do a $30 upgrade to get like the new visuals and stuff like that.
I don't
but
even
then
care about if they do a $60 for the thing. What I'm saying is just like the gray area of them, I think, holding back, not doing a phased approach of taking the community now and fucking keeping it alive to go to your second fucking game. I don't really understand why they're not doing that. And the only reason I can come up with is that they don't think the perceived value would be there for the $60 game if they did it, because then it would be maps and game modes. But I sit there and go, even if you have maps, game modes, and the same fucking characters, you've just made them more pastel and more cartoony looking. It's still not fucking worth it on perceived value. Right. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's whatever.
I don't either.
Gaming companies have gone fucking nuts in the last couple years.
Yes, they have.
Speaking of that, we got a DC Games update as we get into the trenches of news here. So Gotham Knights has officially been given the release date of October 25th, 2022. We got a date. We got a damn date. It's amazing. And on top of that, kind of a date, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been delayed to spring 2023. This is what, the third delay?
At least the second, if not the third, yes. I think it was supposed to come out last spring, and then they pushed it to holiday.
Yes.
No, I don't remember exactly.
No,
it was spring to holiday to spring.
Spring this fucking year.
Yeah. Yeah, at least.
Was the original date. Then we got fall.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got spring of next year, which, not to sound like an asshole, like, I'm looking forward to Gotham Knights, but I was much more looking forward to Suicide Squad.
I'm actually excited for both of them because Gotham Knights seems, even though it's not Rocksteady, it seems like it's definitely going to be more of that, Arkham-esque, that Arkham series for sure. Now the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, I'm excited for that just because it's a co-op game, and on top of that, it's Rocksteady that's doing it, so it's in pretty good hands for the most part. Maybe not if you play on PC, because that doesn't seem to be their strong suit, but no, I'm really excited for both of these games, actually, but it does suck to see Suicide Squad push back again. Every time it gets pushed back, I know a lot of people are like, oh, give it time, give them all the time they need, and I agree with that, but a lot of times that also speaks to there's trouble somewhere, and that's usually at least a small red flag that I'm usually concerned about when you start to see things get pushed back. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. Like, I understand shit happens, right? But man, to see it delayed at least twice, maybe even 3 times, I can't remember exactly, but that's troubling to some extent.
I'm just sick and tired of fucking delays.
Yeah,
Just make it like to tell me that to go from hey it's coming out in the fall or spring, sorry, to then say hey it's coming out in the fall to then say hey spring of next year, like that's you're fucking overshooting like mad, bro.
I just wish they'd wait until they were more definitive on when they were going to launch it, type of thing, right? Like if don't just throw a date out there for the sake of it, because now you get people's hopes up. If you would just wait until you were a little bit closer, even if I understand they want to get their whole marketing cycle out there, yada yada yada, but at the same time, like, good God, when you have to push it back at least a full year, that seems like an issue to where, like, if you just wait until 6 months before you are actually ready to launch this motherfucker, and you are confident this thing is going to be ready. Like, if you delay it a month or two, that's one thing, but to eventually be pushed back so long, that's a whole nother ball game. Like, again, that's like the Cyberpunk thing being announced 7 years before it was even ready to come out. Like, I feel like people are just announcing their games way too early. Like this Witcher thing, it could be 4 or 5 years until we see this fucking game, at least.
Yeah, easily.
Who knows? That shit gets old. Like, and it makes announcements lose their luster anymore, to where it seems like something new's getting announced every other week, and then it's like, okay, cool, we'll see this in fucking 2028. Like,
well, it also ruins like shit like Game Awards and also E3, because now for the next 4 fucking years we're gonna get nothing but little Witcher updates. And then when you go back and look at every single like E3 and Game Awards over the last, like, I don't know, 5 years is what I'd say people started doing this shit. You start going back and being like, what was actually new?
Right.
Like announced, and also like not only just new announced, but like what was actually like what the fuck is actually coming out?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we've been doing this for a while now, and it all runs together at some point, because you see it announced, and you're like, I don't remember when the fuck this was actually announced anymore.
This shit happened pre-COVID, so it's not like it was a fucking COVID thing, times that caused it to happen. This shit was happening well before that.
Oh, absolutely.
And by all intents and purposes, we're getting back to normal.
And even then, the game will release and be a fucking buggy disaster, or be a mess and incomplete, and then it takes months of patches before it's actually even ready too. It's like, I understand it's a shareholder thing, they're putting it out, I get it, they're trying to make money,
dude,
but
I don't even think it's like, I
to some extent, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I also think at this point, like, they're just kind of like, fuck it, put it out.
Yeah, they'll buy it.
I don't think the shareholder wants to have the, like, most shareholders now understand the value of a built-in sustained community. So it's like they want the product to go out and cling to people. They don't want it to, like, negate people from wanting to play it. I think it's
Cyberpunk sold 13 million copies and was a piece of shit at launch.
Right. But I think that's Project Red just being like, fuck it, put it out. Well, it was from the
2042 stories. Was a fucking buggy disaster, and still is. Fuck, and it was the 12th. Yeah, it was the 12th highest selling game on Steam. It's crazy.
Right.
It's just
so it's
crazy.
Like, whatever. They
know they can fucking get away with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Last story of the night, evening, wherever you're listening to this. PlayStation making an acquisition. Little confusing, but not really. But they picked up Haven Studios, which is founded and ran by Jade Raymond, who is very popular and very famous for doing Assassin's Creed. I mean, basically coming up with Assassin's Creed with a team to come up with Assassin's Creed. Can I just read the quick statement by Herman Hurst? Or Hulst,
Go for
sorry. Okay, so Herman Hulst wrote, today I'm delighted to announce that Haven Studios is officially joining PlayStation Studios. Jade Raymond brings a wealth of experience from her industry achievements and an infectious passion for creating games, and the leadership team at Haven is an equally impressive group of industry veterans who have collaborated on some of the biggest and most beloved games and franchises that many of us still enjoy today. We began working with Jade and her team in early 2021 when they were on the brink of announcing the formation of Haven Studios. From their first pitch, we were inspired by Haven's vision for creating a modern multiplayer experience that brings brings gamers together in positive and meaningful ways. We were confident in their creative and technical expertise to deliver on such an ambitious project, and we were thrilled to invest in their journey developing a new original IP for PlayStation. We've had the privilege of working closely with Haven this past year and have been impressed by the studio's growth, yada, 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 yada. Then Jade goes into it, says that 1 year ago they embarked on the journey to start Haven Studios, which obviously was started out of the presumption that Sony was going to be their sugar daddy, 100% on this. There's no fucking way.
Absolutely.
That's exactly why she left Stadia, correct? She left Stadia?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I mean, from the get-go, the game they announced was a Sony exclusive, so they definitely were...
They were already in bed. Yeah.
They were at she was at Stadia for a while, though. Yes, correct.
Here's more about the game, the parts that I picked out from it. Our first new IP for PlayStation is on track to deliver a AAA multiplayer experience with a vision to build a systematic and evolving world focused on freedom, thrill, and playfulness that will keep players entertained and engaged for years. So, open world, hopefully it's not fucking Riders Republic. Esque style shit.
This acquisition means jack shit to me because she has left the last 3 studios she has been at without putting anything out. The games have been canceled, and
shit.
I just genuinely
I agree.
Don't give a fuck because we haven't even seen what the game is, which means it could absolutely be shit canned at any point.
There's also no fucking team.
Yeah,
it's
not
her
really.
and a couple fucking people.
Yeah, I believe one of the guys is from Respawn, if I remember correctly.
Yes, correct.
If not 2 of them, I can't remember. But yeah, at this point, we don't know what the fuck it is.
It's not coming out for a long fucking time because it's AAA.
Yeah, we're at least probably a good 4 or 5 years away from this. Sony's bread and butter is not typically these multiplayer experiences. I have heard so many things about multiplayer experiences being innovative and yada, 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 and it usually amounts to jack shit and the game fucking dies immediately. I'm not saying I don't have faith in the studio. I am saying currently, in the last 8 years, she has not produced anything, and I know she's the spearhead of this whole thing. And she just leaves studios and the projects get canceled. So I don't have much hope in this. I know Sony does clearly because they picked them up. But at the same time, I don't... They what was it? They wanted to have multiplayer... 10 live service games launch in the next 10 years or something like that under Sony. So this is one of them. That is a huge time span. At this moment, until I see a game, this means jack shit to me. It really does.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, for me, this just seems like a giant, let me throw my cock out into the wind on the basis that I'm, acquiring shit because it's just hot news now that this is what's so fucking stupid is anytime now there's some little fucking micro studio picked up somewhere by anybody, it fucking blows the news up on all these outlets now. Which is a huge pain in the ass. Not to say that they shouldn't have the limelight. It's just some of them don't mean shit. What this is she was working at Stadia. She probably fucking talked to somebody at Sony, said Stadia is a fucking pile of shit. I gotta leave this fucking thing. She left it while also preemptively understanding that PlayStation would then work through a possibility of acquiring her, which this chick just fucking made out with a fucking massive payday probably. For fucking nothing, which is insane. Right. Probably concept art at this point, which is fine. I'm not dissing her. I'm just to your fucking point. The stats don't fucking lie. She's left. She did Assassin's Creed. Up to what? Up to what Assassin's Creed?
Brotherhood.
Okay. Fucking left the other shit, hopscotched all over the fucking place, moving her way up to the point where she was what was she, head of what at fucking Stadia? I forget. Was it development?
I think it was game development, yeah. I think.
But anyways, hopscotched the fuck around, got up to the top of it, and said fuck it, raised some fucking capital, started her own fucking studio, then got acquired by fucking PlayStation, and they were talking about PlayStation exclusive games last year anyways. It's fucking stupid. It was built to be fucking acquired. Is exactly what this shit is. It's always been a PlayStation Studios studio from the fucking
Absolutely.
get-go. So
In
it's like,
March 2019, Raymond announced that she had joined Google as vice president during a 2019 Games Developer Conference. So she was the vice president of Stadia specifically.
Great. So when the vice president decides to leave, it's either the product shit or she knew a fucking payday was coming if she went and just raised capital for her own studio.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know.
In 2015, she joined EA and formed Motive Studios based in Montreal. She was also in charge of Visceral Game Studio. She worked on games design, Star Wars games, and developed a new original IP that I'm pretty sure never saw the light of fucking day. 2010, she built a new studio for Ubisoft.
Okay. So she opened a new facility for Ubisoft.
She has not put out a, let's see, she was an executive producer of new IP at Ubisoft Montreal, which included Watch Dogs and the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. So she has not actually put out a game since Watch Dogs.
Which Watch Dogs was an okay game.
It was alright.
The Quest for Mighty Loot was shit.
Yep. I feel like people...
When was Watch Dogs released?
Let's see. Watch Dogs was released in 2014.
Okay. Great.
I thought it was earlier than that, but yeah,
So
8
years.
Yeah.
Around 8 years. 8 years. Great.
Yeah.
That's good.
So,
but
the
multi-service shit is just...
Yeah.
I mean, the PlayStation's the problem right now I'm having is it seems, and I get their business they have to make money, but it seems like PlayStation is really gonna. I really fucking hope they don't do this, but with the PSVR stuff, it seems a lot like they are priming themselves to be able to use the word metaverse.
Yeah. So
which
here,
is fucking concerning to me because I hate the metaverse.
yeah, absolutely. So she worked on Sims Online as the producer in 2002, Assassin's Creed as the producer in 2007, Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Bloodlines as the executive producer in 2009, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist in 2013 as the executive producer, Watch Dogs in 2014 as the executive producer, Assassin's Creed Unity as the managing director in 2014, Far Cry 4 as the managing director in 2014, The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot as the executive producer in 2015, and Star Wars Battlefront 2 as the SVP group general manager in 2017.
Nope.
Yeah. So,
I don't
know. She has a lot of pedigree, and people really put her on this pedestal, but ultimately, in the last nearly decade, she hasn't really put out anything revolutionary by any means. So, and that's not a knock at her, but it's just a statement based on what I am seeing right now. Looking at, I mean, it's
That's the fucking facts,
right here,
dude.
Yeah. I mean, Battlefront 2 was a fucking train wreck, and she left. She left in January of 2018, and the game launched in November of 2017. So she was gone before it even got fixed.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I want them to put out a cool game. I'm cool with that, but I just, at this point, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. There is nothing that makes me want to care about this, nor should I care about this, nor should anybody give a fuck about this until we see something. And even then, it could get shit canned like that fucking Scalebound game that Microsoft had that people were stoked about, and they got fucking shit canned. So until this has a release date and is coming and has a fucking demo or something, who cares?
I don't want fucking live games all over the place.
No.
Call me an asshole,
I agree.
But I don't want that. I don't need more fucking Destinies all over the fucking place. I don't want that.
That's fair.
I don't care. I understand that they're doing, God, what's the project name? Is it Spartacus? Is that it? Pantheon. What the fuck is the project for PlayStation Now. Oh my god, what's the project name? It's a Greek or
I think it is Spartacus.
it's Spartacus. Okay.
Yeah, it's Spartacus.
Whatever the fuck they're doing with that, I really don't want it to be, hey, we can't get IP, so we're making live service games and you get to play them for free when you're subscribed to PlayStation Now. Like, I don't want that shit. I don't want that. No. That's not what I want. I don't want the fucking metaverse. I don't want to hear about that shit. I just want you to make fucking games. Make games. Go make the right acquisitions. You fucked up and didn't acquire shit when you could acquire it. Microsoft came in and started acquiring shit. It's not hard to fucking understand Microsoft. They're huge. They're clunky. You can see all the fucking info right in front of them, exactly what they're trying to fucking do. Years ago, you and I were talking about this, of exactly what the fuck they were going to do. I listened to one of our older episodes, and fucking to a T, it is exactly, and that's not a toot on us, like tooting our own horn. I mean, I think anyone could have really predicted that, but you can, word for word, they're going to go buy a shit ton of stuff and just put that into this system. They'll operate at a fucking loss for years to build their economy of scale, and then they'll come out eventually, which this phase has not yet come out, but we know it's fucking coming, just a fucking stick that plugs into the back of your fucking TV, and now you have an Xbox because it's going to stream. And that's it. That's it. That's the whole fucking plan.
Yeah.
And it's going to work.
It absolutely is going to work.
I love Sony. I have a PlayStation. I have a PS5 sitting right here with me. But, I mean, fucking damn it. They are stupid when it comes to shit.
They
overpaid like 6x for Destiny's team.
Oh, easily. My God, yes. Yeah.
Easily. Like, absurd, man. It's one IP, and it's already in its second fucking revision. Multiple DLC to it. It's had hiccups. It has more competition than ever.
Hiccups, to say the least.
Yeah, it has more competition in the market than ever before for live
and more live
games.
Games are just going to cannibalize that. So Sony putting out more is just going to cannibalize their own fucking market at that point.
But it's okay. We can make it a TV show. Like, fuck, man. Jesus. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck this Haven Studio is going to do. They're not even started up yet. They have to hire people. They have to fucking figure all this shit out. So like you said, we're going to be like 6 fucking years out, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that is the most business tech bro lingo cesspool of a fucking press release I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it is.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Get your Patagonia vests on while they're fucking writing this one. Holy fuck. Wearing their Allbirds shoes.
Oh, shit.
Their fucking chinos and their fucking Patagonia vest. 100%.
Yep.
Sipping
Absolutely.
some matcha, bro. Goddamn. Anyways, that'll do it for this episode. Well, we just trashed the shit out of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Diggity Podcast. Leave us a review of the audio version of the podcast, and check us out on video if you haven't before. Go to YouTube and type in Spawn Camp. You'll see our logo there, and you'll see all the other great content going up on Spawn Camp from people such as Build Bros and WSD and beyond.
If you have problems finding us, just search Spawn Camp Podcast. I don't know why, but that actually brings it up. So
perfect. We're close to
network Spawn Camp Network. It'll come up. Sorry,
we're close to custom URL land, which is exciting. So
we are so close. Thank God.
Need to get there. God, please. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully, there's no delays next week. Can't promise that. It's become a regular weekly session on the show. And until next time, guys, we can't.